Yeah, they're announcing a new player in the game, baseball legend and two-time MVP and Major League Baseball Hall of Famer Frank Thomas.
Can you
known
put him
as
up?
the Big Heart. He's an official partner in the business alongside co-founder and managing partner Mo Vaughn. Welcome to the show, guys. How are you?
Fellas.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Good morning.
All right, where's Mo?
I'm right here.
My man. You were my man. I was just talking to Frank. I love you too, but I'm a Red Sox fan. But Mo, I was just talking about.
Okay. There it is.
I was talking about the home run you hit when you were a Met in Shea. That hit the middle of the scoreboard, and I mean, I couldn't believe a human could hit a ball that far. What pitcher did you hit that off of? Do you remember?
I don't remember, but it's one of those perfect velocity, perfect contact, perfect.
Right.
Release points, and the ball just travels for you like that. It doesn't happen all the time, believe me. But it was just one of those swings on that day, and the ball just jumped and traveled. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. I put some balls in my life, but that was one that I'll never forget.
I mean, you murdered that ball. It was you were playing against the Braves, by the way. I got to go back and.
Yeah, I know it was the Braves. Like I said, I don't remember the pitcher, but he really he was like a three-quarters guy. So lefties facing guys that could like quarters, throws somewhat three-quarters.
Right.
You can really see the ball a long way traveling towards you because of that angle.
You smoked
it. I just saw it. Well, I can remember that.
I mean, could you even believe you hit that far?
Yeah, I mean, listen. I've hit some balls, I've hit some balls in Yankee Stadium that have been stopped by the facade that still are traveling. So, Fenway Park, the other way, over the Green Monster there, you just can't tell. So, listen, for me, I didn't care if they hit the top of the wall, chipped some paint, and fell over.
As long as they got out, right?
Yep. As long as they got out.
Yep.
Hey, Frank, let me get you in here. And I was always fascinated, Frank, by your story. And, I'm sure Mo was the same way, multi-sport star in high school. But you originally went to Auburn, as most people know, on a football deal. You were hoping to get drafted in baseball, but it didn't happen. And then talk about sort of how you made that transition from football to baseball. And did you just sort of show up and walk into the baseball coach's office? Or how did all that go down?
No, I was on a back-to-back state title high school team in baseball, and I thought I was going to get drafted high in baseball out of high school.
Right.
So it didn't happen. I was crushed.
Right.
Watching the draft last night a little bit brought back memories. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Right.
But I had a full football scholarship at Auburn, and I just took the football scholarship, and things worked out for the best because I became a much better player, going through that workout program with the Auburn football team for a couple of years.
Yeah, but how did that, so the baseball coach obviously knew, so when you accepted the scholarship there, was it with the understanding that you would be a two-sport guy, or did you literally guys?
Yes, they knew that I had a great high school baseball career, and Coach Pat Dye, football coach, told me I would have to earn my way out there, so I had to, come and show them football and play well, and then he'll let me walk into the baseball team. So things worked out for the best, and here we are now.
Fellas, when you guys were playing in the bigs, and the season, let's just say the season ended October 1st, whatever. I mean, there's playoffs and everything, but how many weeks did you give your body off, and then when did you start swinging again in the off season before spring training?
Hit it, Mo.
Listen, I think after my first full year in '93. The mental toll just to get through that year and have a decent average. I mean, for me in '93, I was playing, to stay on the team. They were looking to trade me for Mark McGuire. They were looking to, big trades. I really had to produce. So I think, that first year, it was just, man, I was somewhat glad it was over.
Mm-hmm.
I could enjoy a little bit. But, playing in Boston, there really was never any downtime. I played in all three major markets. The idea was, you're only as good as your last at bat. So I'm not so sure there was a lot of downtime mentally or physically because it was all about what are you going to do for me lately and what are you going to bring out to this ball club next season. So there really wasn't a lot of, time off. Probably I started, a month or so before spring training got together, but I always went down to spring training early, started training. But, playing in those major media markets, there was no excuse for non-production. You had to go out there and produce, and you had to go out there and play, and you had to show up and be ready. So that's kind of how I looked at it.
What about you, Frank?
For me, I would take a month off and then start back weight training. And then come early January, I would start hitting and get ready for spring training.
And you were just doing that with like a personal trainer, or were you doing that with a team?
Personal trainer.
Yeah. Okay.
We're joined by Mo Vaughn and Frank Thomas, representing leading big and tall men's fashion brand MVP Collections. Frank is now, and this is the key sentence, Frank, an official partner in the business. So this is not like an endorsement where you get paid a certain amount and do a few spots. You're an official partner with Mo Vaughn in the business. Talk about how that came about and talk about MVP Collections.
Well, first of all, we've been friends a long time, even though he's a bad friend. We, we go back a long way.
Listen, don't believe him, bro. Don't believe him. Go ahead.
He told me in 16 that he was starting a clothing company. He's already doing real estate. And I was like, clothing? So it didn't dawn on me. And then a year later, I walked to DXL, my store I always shop at, and I saw a whole rack of MVP Mobile Production. I'm like, what? So I called him right from there in the store. And he said, yeah, that's mine. So I was like, okay, well, send me some clothes. He sent me some clothes. And I was like, wow, I can't believe this. So I started stalking him at that point. I was like, listen, you need me on your team. So, you got a close friend like that. We've always, joked with each other a lot about a lot of things. But it finally came together after 2 years because Mo's a tough businessman, and that's the way it should be. But he finally brought me on the team, and I'm happy to be here now to help grow this brand as big as possible.
Guys, I know you've both been doing interviews here recently, and you guys have talked about how baseball's changed. Everybody's striking out a million times. Frank, you are known for never striking out, relative to your power. Can you kind of talk about how the game has changed and whether you like this evolution or not?
I think it's changed because they want this to happen because the home run is everything nowadays. But for me, it was about getting a hit. I mean, I wanted to get a hit every time I went to the plate. I couldn't live with striking out. And I always had a two-strike approach.
Right.
Up to 2 strikes, I was in and out. But 2 strikes, I had to figure out, hit the ball with pitch and then put it in play. It was important to me. And Mo felt the same way.
Definitely. I talk about it. Listen, I was more of a free swinger. I struck out over 100 times, but it wasn't going to be that much over 100. And, being right-handed, we're taking more chances. We're doing more different pitches and change-ups and things. But ultimately, I think Frank, listen, he's arguably one of the, the best right-handed hitter ever to play the game, if you think about it.
Hell yeah.
If you just look at the numbers, look at the walks, look at the RBIs and the home runs, he could hang in that category. But I think ultimately, we know hitting in the 3, 4, 5 position, it's all about driving in runs with men in scoring position. And there's an art and there's a mindset to do that, and that's what we were paid to do. I would hopefully my batting average was, close or higher to men in scoring position as it was without, because that's hitting. Walk 65 with 14 home runs and 65 RBIs, it just didn't work for me,
right.
And it still doesn't work for me. I hope they go back to listen. People talk about launch angle. Yeah, you get launch angle after you've already been down and through the ball, and the ball's been struck, and then you release, and that's when the launch angle comes. But swinging up before the ball is, you got a 6'5" pitcher higher than you throwing the ball down, and you're swinging up to hit the ball at that velocity, it doesn't make any sense. We should go back to teaching and hitting the ball the way it's supposed to be hit. You hit through the ball, your bat is level through the strike zone to the height of the ball. That's the way you hit. Ted Williams is saying, all these guys are saying the same thing. So
right.
For me, let's get back to playing the game the way it's supposed to be played.
I mean, for all the millennials who never saw these guys play, I mean, these are two big dudes.
Right.
Don't you guys love that passion, Coach Mo there?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. I don't know why you guys don't get involved in it.
And you weren't just power hitters. I mean, you guys were good. I mean, Mo hit 340 one year. Frank Thomas hit 350.
Yes.
I mean, you guys were good hitters. It wasn't just, swinging for the fences.
So do you guys –
But the batting coaches at our time, they wouldn't accept that.
Right.
You couldn't come back to when we came up in the big leagues, guys will tell you, you're going to hit in that third spot. There's certain things you got to do. They're just not going to accept certain things that are accepted now. It's just, I don't know where that has come from or why.
Have
but
you-
it should go back to guys that know the game, should be hitting coaches. The guys that never hit, why are you in the big leagues teaching? I don't know.
But why not? Why don't? That was my question. Why don't you guys give back to the game? I know you guys are already set financially. You don't need it, and it is a grind. But at least maybe be like a roving instructor or something like that. Is it something you've ever considered?
Well, right now we both got young kids, so I'm teaching my little Frank right now. He's 10 years old, and I got him on both sides of the plate doing his thing. So
Nice.
He's going to be a beast, I guarantee
In
it.
7 or 8
But
years, it's going to be in the league.
Exactly. We got an 8-year window to get back to that to get to that draft. So Mo's the same way with this kid. This kid is 7. So
I got a
it's all
7-year-old
about
lefty,
passing.
and we damn sure ain't teaching no launch angle. We better get through the ball, stay inside the ball, hit the ball, gap to gap. I don't know what they're talking about, bro.
Right.
Hey, what is it? I have no. This is an ignorant question. I'm sorry. I
They
should know
love
this.
metrics.
Has switch hitting, has it gone? I feel like it's gone down. Where is that in terms of back in your era to now? Is it about the same? How come more people aren't doing that?
I have no idea. You should, because it makes the game a lot easier. You know, and that's why I got my kid right away. He's a natural lefty, but you know his right swing is more powerful than his left swing. So I'm having fun with this because you know teaching a game that hitting the proper way is perfect, and I'm gonna hold him accountable like I was held accountable by Walt Reniak.
Right.
Hey, Mo, do you enjoy sitting down with your son and watching a game today, or is it changed too much for you?
No, I enjoy. Listen, I left the game on a sour note. He brought me back in the game at 5 years old. I'm now been coaching him. I have a baseball organization in Boca Raton, Florida called the Boca Raton Paw Sox. I have 4 travel teams that are very good coaching the game. And now I'm always watching baseball. But I just would like to see more baseball people on the baseball field.
Mm-hmm.
As much as analytics is great, it can't test the heart. It can't test the competitive edge. Like all of a sudden, I'm gonna say this.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why the Dodgers didn't win the World Series last year is because you got your best players sitting on the bench against left-handed pitching.
Right.
Okay?
Right. You got Bellinger sitting on the bench.
You got Bellinger sitting on the bench against left-handed pitching. He needs to be in the game, learn how to hit lefties, learn how to play the game. Your 3, 4, 5 hitters, what's going on, and get out there. So I'm back in the game. I love it, but I'm teaching my son the old-fashioned way, the way Frank and I used to play, bottom line.
Hey, Mo, real quick before we let you go, buddy. My buddy keeps texting me, my buddy Kevin. He's like, you got to tell Mo I used to hang out with him at the M&P pub in Brockton.
You know how many guys hung out with
course,
Mo
man.
Vaughn at that pub?
I mean, I just had to bring
I know what
that
it is. Right in the Brockton stolen line, baby.
I just had to
So
throw.
great.
I had to throw that out there.
So great.
We want to thank you guys for taking some time out of your day. It's Mo Vaughn and Frank Thomas. Again, it's MVP Collections, MVPcollections.com, where the big dudes like Mo and Frank have sizes 2XL to 6XL, XLT to 4XLT, and sizes ranging from 42 to 58. For the big dudes, they have to go to
know what's so great?
MVPcollections.com.
With our culture just becoming big fatties, they're just capitalizing on it.
No, kids are just bigger nowadays. You know how that is. Kids are just bigger.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, we enjoyed it, man. That was great.
Thank
Mo,
you,
Frank,
guys.
Awesome to
Thanks
talk to you
a lot,
boys.
guys.
All
Yep,
right, take care.
Thanks for the time. By the way,
Bye-bye.